Panda. Panda.
Oh, yeah, that song.
Panda.
I don't hear shit like that because I just don't listen.
Well, you will never hear it again because it was popular for like 8 months. And then nobody
I don't even remember it. I just remember you talking about it.
That guy, that rapper, designer.
There's a song.
That rapper who made that Panda song recently got arrested for flopping his meat out at a flight attendant.
Oh, I think you told me that. Yeah,
and just being like, what? They were like, you're in trouble, dude.
You literally can't just do that.
What do you mean I'm in trouble?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? That guy died, by the way. I think I heard here recently.
Well, you know.
Anyway, Casual Geographic, as awesome and fantastic as he is, put out a new video that is interesting, to say the least. The title is, Should We Let Nature Finally Delete Pandas?
This makes me so sad, because they're so cute and innocent and big dummies and just fall out of like really, really tall trees and like...
They're pandas.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like them. They pretty much eat like one thing.
And you know those videos when they have baby pandas and like they're the caretakers and they're like hanging on their legs and they're like trying to like get off of me. Have you? Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh. If I could have that job, I don't care.
You would just live with pandas?
I would just do that.
What if they like smell like just straight piss?
Oh, they're not.
Like, what if they're, like, there's things about animals and just being, like, watching them on a show or something, you're like, oh my god, they're adorable. But then you go out in the wild and you, like, hold one,
gross.
And then mites start biting the shit out of you.
It would be like in a zoo. Because if you're a caretaker.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't,
or
if they did
a
have
nature
mites,
preserve, or there's different...
taken care of to make sure they don't have parasites and gross stuff.
I don't know.
I would like to be a panda caretaker. Don't put all these implications into it.
If I've learned anything from owning a few different exotic pets that weren't that out of the realm of normal.
And definitely not that big.
As soon as you cross the line past a regular ass cat and dog...
It gets a little wild. It gets a little wild.
Yeah. And they're wonderful. I have loved all of our pets. Our hedgehog, our bearded dragon, our sugar gliders. I love them all. The sugar gliders, I am so fucking glad that we found a place for them to be in a colony where they are. If you see people who have like sugar gliders and things like that as pets, them being nice and kind is Stockholm Syndrome. It's not like they're happy, okay?
Babe.
Well, they are literally only attached to the people that they're with because they see them as like a tree that they can hide in.
Yeah.
That they're going to be safe as long as they hide in their clothing or whatever. They're supposed to be in huge... Like
30 plus colonies.
Yeah, colonies, and like they're supposed to be very social and all that stuff with their own, you know, and they're not an ideal pet.
Yeah.
I don't want something to seem like it loves me because it's terrified of literally everything around me.
They're so cute.
And they're
so cute.
They
stink.
They stink.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to anything past, you know, little fish, like
I don't want fish. I would love to have fish. I don't want to clean out.
I've had turtles. Fish tank. I've had different various types of aquatic turtles and stuff, and they're
too much.
They're a lot.
Like an outside, like a koi pond, something that like takes care of itself. It's fine. I'm not cleaning out a fish tank full of crap Anyway, how do we get here?
We're just talking about animals and whether they should, you know, pandas should be deleted or not. And you were saying you wanted to be a caretaker for them, and I'm just saying, no, you don't.
Maybe I will.
You really don't.
Maybe they don't smell like piss. Maybe
we shall see more information about pandas, and then you make your claim at the end on whether or not you would want to actually live among them. Anyway,
I don't have to live there, but yeah.
Let's pull this video up and check it out. Oh shit!
Oh, and he's got a big
coming up to chill. What's the plan, bruh? Everything is awesome when you're a panda.
There are some animals whose entire existence proves that nature isn't about survival of the fittest. It's survival of just barely being good enough. If life was a class, it wouldn't be about passing with straight A's. It'd be about passing off your DNA before you become an F in the chat. And some animals are universally recognized as the remedial students of nature. Cheetahs are the red-headed stepchild of the category. Sloths are basically free calories served on a moss blade. And roasting koalas is considered low-hanging fruit only because they happen to share the same IQ. And also because they put the mid in chlamydia. And it seems that everyone can agree that pandas are egregiously bad at pandaing, and that we as a society need to stop being this biracial Winnie the Pooh crutch and just let nature finish with its But are pandas really that bad? Did we successfully gaslight the barcode bears of the world? Or do pandas really profit off the most OP pretty privileged genjutsu nature's ever seen? To find out, first we gotta lay out all the factors that make the Try to Panda challenge virtually impossible. But before that, this video was sponsored by absolutely no one. Let's get it. You probably already know that the panda's biggest problem revolves around it being a bamboo sink. 99% of the things that meets this oversized equality hamster's gullet is bamboo. Despite clearly being designed with carnivore software, it's the koala problem of building your entire meal plan around something that gives you very little back. Which is why pandas can spend up to 16 hours a day eating something they can only digest 17% of. The very definition of injustice is that when you Google sloth bear, this monochromatic try-hard vegan doesn't show up, since their diet of scarfing bamboo often leaves them with very little energy for anything else. So to accommodate this self-imposed energy budget, pandas developed relatively smaller-sized organs, including, you guessed it, their brains. And something else, but we'll get to that. But yeah, being a bimbo for bamboo might have literally nerfed their intelligence in the process. And some of you may have asked yourselves why the breathing bamboo purses don't just hibernate, since hibernation is basically power save mode for animals, and if anyone needs to save energy, it's pandas. Well, one, bears technically aren't even true hibernators. But two, even if they were, eating like the vegan teacher's lapdog means pandas are physically incapable of putting on the fat reserves required to hibernate for months at a time without also getting perma-slept to starvation. But honestly, the problems with their diet have low-key been overblown. If being a bamboo junkie was their only issue, they wouldn't be as chronically down bad. At their core, animals have two main goals, food and another F word my mom doesn't like me to say. We see how they handle their meal prep, but it's their love life that really screws pandas over. Pandas are absurdly bad at making more pandas. Off rip, their window to reproduce isn't even really a window, it's more like a hairline crack in the windshield. Female pandas ovulate 1 to 3 days out of the entire year. That's only 24 to 72 hours are open for business out of a possible 8,760. And since being bent on bamboo means they eat, sleep, and socialize like a stereotypical Reddit user, finding a possible partner is often equally as difficult for them. Even if he does manage to track a female down, he still has a high risk of fumbling the opportunity because males are apparently illiterate at reading signs. Male pandas often struggle to interpret the signs that a female actually wants to be. And when you only have hours on the clock, mistakes like that ensure that the only thing getting screwed is the future of your progeny. And even if the female's 100% with it, it's still not a for sure thing. Partly because male pandas struggle through the process of procreation in a way that is almost impressive, but also partly due to the panda's reportedly disproportionately tiny penis. Which is why pandacoitus is a lot like trying to get a 1/4-inch USB into a port blind, while also wearing a 200-pound fat suit. You try without using thumbs. Nature did this obese oppression raccoon zero favors. Their mating habits are a big reason why the double-stuffed Ursus Oreos are where they're at. Pandas in breeding programs in captivity often show so little interest in their literal only job that researchers have resorted to showing them videos of pandas mating. Apart from pulling videos from Panda Hub, researchers have also resorted to giving them actual Viagra. Although you need a magnifying glass to see if it's working, because again, the P in panda does not stand for packing. And even though most pandas rely on the grace of God as a wingman, somehow the jihad of life doesn't end once they add new names to the roster. Pandas are some of the worst parents on the planet. You've probably heard that if a panda has twins, one of them is a guaranteed loss, since the mother panda will abandon half her litter and leave that one twin to die. Which is even worse when you consider that grizzly bears will allegedly disown their cubs, but they only do it when there's one, since they'd rather start over with 2 to 4 cubs than put all their hopes and stock in one. The chosen panda cub doesn't get off scot-free either, since the yin-yang colored chonk bears of China have the highest mother-to-baby size ratio of any mammal. To put it in perspective, humans are typically 20 times bigger than their babies. Mother African elephants are typically 45 times heavier. A mama panda is approximately 900 times the size of a newborn baby. And since they don't have pouches like marsupials, that puts the panda at a legitimate risk of being turned into a chalk outline by its own oblivious mother. Just another way nature set this glorified cow gerbil up for failure. And it's not even like domestication is an option. A good reason is cause, despite what the black and white bane of bamboo might tell you, it's still a bear, and a bear is a bear is a bear. And the black sheep of the bear brotherhood is still liable to absolutely fold any human. Especially since the one plus of constantly crushing bamboo is a bite force comparable to big cats like lions. In case you thought this plus-size Oreo was sweet, one man nearly lost his whole leg after a giant panda wandered onto his land and crushed his leg like celery. Then there's the fact that a high-volume, low-efficient diet means the one-man bamboo processing plant known as the panda can poop a healthy 40 times a day. And of course, living in the chilly, mountainous forests of Asia, pandas figured out that they can stay warm by rolling around and covering themselves in fresh manure.
Oh my God.
So if you want to add a biting, eating, pooping, sewer-smelling dependent to your family, like I always say, you're better off having children. Because there are no tax credits for providing for pandas. In fact, the opposite. Pandas quite literally cost millions of dollars just to keep alive. But mostly that's because giant pandas are leased by the Chinese government at approximately a fat million a year. And if one of those pandas gets knocked up, that'll set you back a cub tax of about $400,000. Which is why, currently, only 3 zoos in the US have a biracial, bamboo-munching beanbag of a bear on display. One of those zoos used to be San Diego. I say used to because one of the consequences of renting pandas is that gives China the ammunition to be petty. I'm not a political channel, I'll never be a political channel. I'm not implying any type of affiliation or bias, I'm just listing 2 things that happened. In 2019, Trump may or may not have fueled a trade war against China. And come May 2019, a mother panda and her son were recalled and sent back to China.
I didn't know that.
The trade war had nothing to do with it, and this was just the natural end of a panda loan. But 10 years earlier in 2009, Taishan the panda was deported not long after Obama met with the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama is, as far as China is concerned, an op. So my working theory is China uses pandas for diplomacy, but also as a vehicle of petty punishment. That's not really the pandas' fault, but at this point we might as well hold it against them too. We didn't even mention the fact that pandas aren't even really pandas. When zoologist Frédéric Cuvier first used the word panda in 1825, he was describing the red-headed raccoon we call the red panda. The furry orca known as the giant panda wasn't named until much later, and it only got its name because at the time they thought it had a lot in common with the red panda. Turns out, they're not even close to being related, meaning this overgrown zebra yogi isn't even the original panda. And the fact that its monochrome mugshot shows up first when you type panda and not live-action Shifu is one of the biggest injustices of nature. This is the OG panda, but the newspaper-flavored cloud-guzzling frauds took up just enough space to convince the world otherwise. So obviously pandas have their problems, and you can argue that their best trait is being a luck merchant. There is no other animal that gets carried harder by pretty privilege than the endgame of a sloth bear raccoon orgy. And they're the only creature on Earth with black and white privilege. Because the reason giant pandas are the mascot of the World Wildlife Fund is literally because having a mascot with the same color patterns as 1940s TV saves you a lot of money on ink. Yo, that sounds like a joke, but I'm not even kidding. If pandas were black and yellow or black and brown, they might not have gotten a job. But that aside, consensus is that pandas are so bad at pandaing that we should just let the flex of China fade into oblivion the way nature intended. But is that really true, or have we just been doing giant pandas incredibly dirty this entire time? First thing to mention is that they're a specialist species, with that specialty being in binging bamboo. Being a specialist rather than a generalist means you can typically tap into a niche nobody else can. But that means they can adapt to changes in their environment, and that also means that there are only a couple things going wrong away from getting evicted from reality. Having a very particular set of skills might be great if you're Liam Neeson, but it can severely handicap you as a species. And the funny thing is, for all the crap pandas get, the biggest and arguably most intimidating land predator on the planet is a specialist. Polar bears depend almost entirely on sea ice to hunt, and if that goes away, then it's bye-bye ice bear. But for some reason, we don't on the polar bear nearly as much for being dependent on ice as we lampoon pandas for their life choices. Especially since it's habitat destruction and fragmentation that really had giant pandas down bad. You see, it's believed the panda bear once had more variety in his diet and was more omnivorous. But likely because there was just so much bamboo everywhere and virtually zero competition for it, eventually they shifted into primarily eating bamboo. It also turns out that the bamboo they eat is high in protein but low in carbs. So despite seeming like that one person that would bring a veggie burger to a cookout, weirdly enough, the giant panda's protein intake is actually close to that of wolves. They're also particular about the part of bamboo they like to eat and when. According to studies on radio-collared pandas, in the summer and spring they prefer to eat the protein-packed shoots found at higher altitudes. But during autumn and winter they migrate down into the valley and shift more towards eating bamboo leaves which are high in vitamin C along with roots. And they just move from high to low to high again year in and year out. Something that's clearly worked for them since they've been just fine like this for thousands of years. So much so that the umami taste receptor, i.e. the one that lets you experience the savory taste of meat, theirs got turned off. And they even evolved a false thumb for no other reason than to help them hold bamboo. So clearly pandas had a process that worked. The problem is when you fragment the habitat they spent thousands of years in and separate them from the food, the result is less pandas. We love to say pandas are bad at life, but by receding their habitat like a middle-aged hairline, we haven't made living any easier. Also, the whole point I made about pandas being bad at making whoopee, turns out that might just be propaganda, because in a twist, the giant panda's reproductive rate really isn't that much worse than that of American black bears. And black bears, they're doing just fine. In fact, everything I said about pandas having negative riz really only applies to those in captivity. In the wild, female pandas do have a small window for baby making, but that's often after a selection process that involves at least 2 males running fades for her honor. In a process that can last up to and over a week. And we now believe that this process might just be what stimulates ovulation. You can't really replicate that in a zoo, and between that and a constant flow of people, that's probably the biggest reason why pandas in captivity become celibate. Like, be real, if you were forced into an arranged marriage and had to have an audience watch you consummate it, you'd be a little awkward too. There is no bigger indictment than the fact that a zoo in Hong Kong had been trying to hook up 2 pandas for the better part of 10 years. And it wasn't until a certain beer virus of 2020 shut down the zoo to the public that the 2 bears finally got it on. Roommates for 10 years, and all it took was a couple months of privacy for them to fornicate. But even with all the slander, pandas are actually in pretty good shape. And that is a problem. With about 2,000 pandas alive today, pandas were recently demoted off the endangered species list. Yet giant pandas still finesse a bulk of conservation efforts simply because they're cute.
Yeah.
Think about it for a second. Pandas have big eyes, big foreheads, and chonk physique. If they didn't remind us of babies, we wouldn't be this invested in their future.
True.
There's like 400 blobfish left in the entire world, and you probably didn't know that because, real talk, nobody's buying their child a plushie that looks like a deflated sunfish fetus. Not to mention the animals that could legitimately destroy entire ecosystems if they go ghost, like bees or certain types of plants. They become an afterthought because, yeah, pretty gets priority. It's like that one gym teacher that ignores actually struggling students to help the attractive girls in class that don't need or ask for it. That's right. Pandas are hot girls. Side note, why does it always seem like the gym teacher's on felonious timing? Pandas aren't perfect, they're miles away from it, but at the end of the day, we've done far more to them than for them. But that's gonna do it for this video. Be sure to check out my book for 100 animals that can absolutely fold you like a lawn chair, link in description. Drink water, you need that stuff. Hug your mother, tell Pops you appreciate him. Matter of fact, might have to make a Father's Day video in the name of equality. But until then, I'ma see y'all in the next one. Now for y'all that watched till the end, here's some panda ASMR.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Crunch.
I mean, just tearing it down, dude.
Honestly, like, I know that it's a bear, but look at it. If you just stumbled upon this little guy...
Would you just look at it?
If I died by panda, that would suck. But I would not be afraid of it at first. It wouldn't feel the same stumbling upon a panda than a black bear. I would feel way more in danger, just like the Free Willy, the killer whales. They're so cute. My dad was like, no, they're fucking not. They're killer whales. I'm like, nah, those are Free Willies. I still feel the same way about it. How do you feel about the pandas? I dropped my fidget toy, which is just a bunch of Allen wrenches.
No.
No,
No, I'm not fucking with no bear. I don't care. Care Bear, Little Bear, no bear. Hell no bear. No. Hell no.
My dad sent me a picture last week, and were they brown? No.
Yeah.
Were they brown bears?
Yeah. No.
It was a black bear.
I don't remember. I
think it was a black bear, and it was a mama and 2 babies in his front yard.
No. How about this? How about, again, we got our dog, we got our cat, and you've got me. I'm a teddy bear. You don't need another bear.
Panda bear. I also thought koalas were the cutest thing ever until I learned that they're shit eaters.
Demons and
shit eating chlamydia bears. I think it's sad.
Would you still want to work in the panda exhibit now that you know they roll in their shit and they shit all day long?
Okay. The 40 shits a day is problematic. That is excessive. That is insane.
Pandas be shitting.
Pandas be shitting. So I wouldn't want to like be the person to clean it up. Maybe I could just be like the supervisor who had like access to the
40
pandas.
times a day shit stank is just going to magically disappear.
But like maybe I don't work in the like, you know, like I'm like the
Nikki is a master at this. Moving the goalpost. All right.
No, I'm just changing my mind. And they would have to be, like, bathed, you know?
Right, exactly. So the fairy tale
Yes.
panda experiment in Nikki's mind, if it were perfect, that would be great.
I feel bad that they don't procreate as often as they would in zoos as they do just in the
wild,
nature.
Yeah. In the nature.
In the nature.
In their natural habitat.
Yeah. And also, how wild is it that they think that they start ovulating because
A foreplay?
that's pretty much what it is.
That
would be, like, terrifying for
makes
humans.
sense.
Just like, oh, well.
Don't let Nikki outside, please, the chat says. Yeah. Well, look. At the end of the day...
You don't get to choose. I wouldn't even go near a random dog on the street.
How fucking stupid is it, though, that an entire species is delegated by a country,
Well,
like
that's
a
where
government?
I know.
No. See, I have this completely different view of political shit and just like governments of the world. Now, the people who run the government of China and the people who run the government of the United States are not the United States. They are not the people of this country.
No.
There are
Right.
a group of people
The representatives of
who speak on behalf of the ruling body of these people.
Yeah.
But they don't speak for us. We are our country.
Everybody, you
The
get a
government-
panda, and you get a panda.
No,
okay?
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, did the pandas never agreed to none of this shit?
Yeah.
They're like, okay,
Isn't it wild how they're like, oh, you know what? We're just gonna take these two back.
well, it's just...
The timing is suspicious.
No, I don't even care about that.
I
even.
think it's
just weird as fuck to me for like the game warden to be able to go down to the river and be like, "Do you have a license to fish in this
I think
river?"
that's horseshit. Yeah.
It's like, I fucking live right here. Like this is my...
Or I'm a human and these are fish, and like I am
Yeah.
fishing outside in the nature.
I just feel like it's crazy. It's crazy the way that...
I understand what you're saying.
like there's got to be some, for me in my brain, there's a separation between when I walk outside and look around and the people that like employ the police and the people who make laws about what you can do and stuff. It's like, these are the assholes that are in charge of what people can do out here, but they are not a representation of this dirt that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
You know, it's just weird to me.
Yeah, it is weird.
Because we feel a connection to the land and to the earth and to our world.
Dude, I can be in
And they
the
try to own
worst
that
mood
also.
and then just go ground myself.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally studies where, and I don't know, I'm not a fucking scientist. Don't be like, Nikki, in the comments, because I don't want to fucking hear it. But, like, where I think it's like something like there's like negative ions, and like, so there's studies published. We can look into it. But,
this shit just went way like over my head when you started talking about negative ions and shit. I'm
take
just like,
your shoes off and go touch grass, y'all. That's what I'm saying. Then you can comment. 30 minutes. Go outside.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's weird to me that their government body would be making the rules on, like, it would be like different if the pandas were in their country and they're like, we own the genetics to this creature that was only born here and nobody else can have access to any of these creatures or whatever. And it's just like, is it not that? Is this a thing that happens with every creature on planet Earth? It's weird.
It's weird.
It's no different to me than if a government was like, nah, Bob over here cannot bang any chicks over here. If he reproduced, no, Bob is ours.
Some people try to do that.
You know, I mean, it's just weird to me.
It is weird.
That whole thing was kind of odd. But I do think that pandas are ridiculously cute. And their whimsical stupid stuff that they do.
They're big dummies.
It's very, very funny, and I will gladly watch that on a screen of some kind or through a pane of glass. Look, are we even doing this right now? That's what we're doing. We were about out of it. We were almost out of this one, and Nikki just goes, "Oh wait, let's not forget.
There's more.
There's more."
No, I just like forgot about it, and then I'm like, wait, that really happens? So funny. Okay.
Well, look, if we're getting into those woods, I do think it's funny that they have like tiny schlongs. That's hilarious.
That's
to me.
so mean.
I mean, they probably don't talk about it. It's just a thing, you know. It's just the way that they are.
Know.
Well, they probably since they only
know.
bang like once every 600 years or whatever it is. Then they probably don't even know. Hell, she don't even know it's happening. She was like, "I was saying, do it."
No.
He's like, "I already did."
And her backing up on him, and he's like, just eating his bamboo.
That is just like a long-term relationship. Like, as funny as that is, it's just like after you've been together for a long time, you will realize sometimes your schedules don't sync up. Isn't that an annoying thing when it's like, "No, I'm ready," and you've been with somebody for a long time and they're like, "Yeah,
but your timing is fucking shit."
But I'm not, and I know we can do this tomorrow." So, you know, it's just like funny as shit to see him sitting there eating bamboo, just like, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
This is not happening.
It's really funny that he's like actually oblivious, because otherwise he would probably be like, "Oh, okay," but just not on the radar.
He might be like, "No, I got to get more calories before I'm."
Maybe, yeah.
Because this man was in, you know, laid back rodeo style, just like throw one arm up. That shit was fucking funny. Great video. Casual Geographic's funny as hell. You should subscribe to that channel if you have not.
Yeah.
Nikki and I always enjoy when the man posts a new video.
Very funny, very informative.
Thank you guys for hanging out. We really appreciate y'all. You got anything else you want to say to the people?
I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you guys. See you next time. Bye.